Well, once I'd sorted those vacuum hoses out, it became obvious that there was far more extensive work to do if I was going to achieve what I wanted to do, which is namely cleaning the engine up and getting rid of all the oil and muck that accumulated over the last 30 years or so. So that means I had to remove the inlet manifolds, which you can see there, and I also removed at the same time the fuel rail, and with the intention of replacing all the fuel hoses. That was in itself quite a job, and as you can see here, the preliminary work I'd done on it, and in the later next 2 or 3 pictures you'll see the what it was like under the manifolds. Well, you can see here, once I got the manifolds off, you can see that even though I'd cleaned it up quite a bit before taking these pictures, it was still quite a mess, and especially at the back end there towards the bulkhead. Now there you can see the round object there is the dump valve, and those leads or hoses going off to go to various vacuum leads. One goes over to the vacuum control on the distributor, and the other ones, especially the white ones, they're the vacuum hoses. The ones, the blue, have air going through them, I think, but I'm not absolutely sure and remain to be corrected on that. Here's a close-up view of the back of the engine on the driver's side. You can just see how really dirty and oily and greasy and horrible it was. Obviously, quite a big oil leak through the rocker cover there, and it was even worse down back towards the gearbox. Anyway, that was eventually cleaned, and the heater pipe that you can see there running diagonally across to the right was of course removed, and new seals and new gaskets fitted, and it's all nice and shiny, or reasonably so by the time I'd finished. Yeah, so I was saying, you can just see that it's filthy down there, and obviously the cam cover gasket has been leaking for a number of years. So now I'm just starting to clean it all up, and hopefully in a minute or two we'll see it nice and clean, or reasonably clean anyway. Hi everyone, it's the 11th of March 2019 and we can start doing some more videos on rebuilding or refurbishing the top end and front end of the XJS coupe. It's been quite a long time since I videoed everything, but I've had to do a lot of cleaning, and which obviously is not very photogenic, and had one or two major hiccups, or not major. One was major, the rest have probably been light. In the meantime, I've taken yesterday actually, I took the camshaft cover off to see if we could find any reason for the oil leak from there, and I don't know if you can see it on here, the top of the side that went down onto this is the gasket obviously, the side that went down onto the block was inside of here was oily, so obviously the oil had been getting past there. And there's also a little rubber bung down there which needed replacing as well, because I'm pretty sure oil had been getting past that as well. Today the new water pump arrived, and I've also got a new radiator and a new alternator, and I'll show those to you in the next 2 or 3 days when things have warmed up a wee bit. It turned out nice this afternoon, but tomorrow is another gale is due and heavy rain. So here now we can see the top of the engine with the valve cover removed, and you see it's really quite clean, which is I find a bit ominous actually. Doesn't seem to be any oil up there at all, which is not too sure about that. You can see the I see some of the lobes on the camshaft are a slightly different colour, and I'm not probably the inlet valves, and I'm not too sure why that is, with signs of a problem or not, I don't know. The timing chain there I'm not going to change at this stage, because it's not supposed to be done for till we reach 100,000 miles. We're not nowhere near that at present, and I've just given it a close look at, and the sprocket teeth seem to be in good order, at least on this side, and so I'm not touching that unless I have to. You can see there I've got a new complete set of top end gaskets, and we'll start fitting those now, or put the cover back on. And we'll do that now, I hope. Oh. Here's the inside of the cover. You see it's very clean, which I suppose not to have been off for 30 years. Oh, well, it's rather odd really. However, we'll proceed. You can see I'm putting a bit of oil on these, engine oil that is, on these lobes, because in my view they're a wee bit dry, and I don't like starting up engines that are bone dry of oil. So we put a dollop of oil on these. First of all, I've got to get out the packaging. A bit of a faff. So, there we go. Oh, there's my knife. Never find it when I want it, of course. Oh dear. Knife, come here. Find you. Oh, I'll have to come back to you. Looks okay. I suppose we could get over that, put a bit of gasket goo around it. So, we'll see. Got to be very careful with it, obviously. Doesn't seem to be as substantial as the one that came off. I'm just wondering now whether I should put some gasket goo on this or not. Careful of it. Not rush these things. It's not as stiff as the old one. It came off it, which was a bit worrying, really. I think I'm going to get some gasket goo on this, or put a smear of gasket goo, just to make sure the hole stays in place. Come back to you on that. Yeah, the 18th of March, and it's the first really warm day. Hopefully spring's come. You can see here the top of the head, which I've cleaned off a wee bit, and I've removed the transfer pipe, and you can see it's pretty manky underneath there, and to be honest it stank as well. In a minute I'll show you what was the underside of the aluminium castings as well, just how bad it was, and I suspect there's been a water leak across there. As you can see, I've done a bit more on the top, removed the throttle tower, or temporarily removed it anyway, making ready to put the new distributor cap on and leads and everything. which hopefully will be on in the next day or two. Right, and so before it's the 18th of March, and it's the first day really I can do any cleaning and whatnot outside. You can see here I'm just cleaning that crossover pipe. There's all the gunge, some trusty old paraffin. Just get the worst of this oily muck off. Using a big brush because I wore my little one out. See, it's pretty mucky underneath there. You can see some remains of the gaskets here. They're going to have to come off before they refit them with new gaskets, of course. Torque them down to the correct poundage, or whatever they use these days. I've forgotten what it is. It's got a good old dish brush to get some more stubborn stuff off. Of course, when I've done this, I'll be separating the two castings from this pipe and replacing the rubber grommets in there, because this one especially has been leaking a wee bit, especially under pressure. You can see. So gentlemen, we've got another use for dish brushes, apart from cleaning the dishes. Looks like someone's been having a go there, been a leak. Have to be investigated. Someone's used some gunk or something. Hold that union on. I don't know what they've used. Whether it's worked properly or not. This needs investigating. The cause of that is. The union I'm talking about is the one here. Someone's used some kind of body filler, or God, I don't know what else they've used on it. I'm going to have to check that out. Anyway, I'll just leave it for a bit to dry off, and then I'll separate the two pieces. Well, I'm going now at taking these end pieces out, because I've got to renew the washers, grommets down at each end. So to do this, we're going to use quite a heavy hammer, but in this case it's a copper fibre one, and it weighs about 2 pounds, which is why it's number 2, I presume. And the only way I could do it anyway was to use the fibre end to give the aluminium casting a welly, but not too much of a welly,
otherwise we might shatter it. This is why we've got a fibre end on it. But before we start, cup of tea comes first. And hopefully I can finish that off when I've done this and I'm not in tears. Okay, we'll give it a go and see what happens. Don't hit it too hard, just see this end's coming away quite easily. Try and take it down as evenly as possible. So we come over a wee bit, so we're going to have to bring it back a bit. Wasn't my foot, thankfully. Away it comes, just like that. Yep. Now we'll have a go at doing this other end. It's a bit tighter, as though it would be. Remember, these haven't been moved for 30 years plus. I don't think so. It's imperative we don't damage these castings. Ooh, hit my finger. This is going to take a bit while longer, so I'll come back to you. As you can see, I've separated them now. That washer has been left behind in the casting. I'll come to that in a sec. The other one came out after a bit of force, but you can see it's broken the lip on one side of it, which is no problem because I've got new ones anyway, but the new ones don't come with the inner lip, which goes on there like that. I'm just a bit wary of how strong the seal is going to be, but time will tell, I suppose. I'm going to have to cut this end off as well. We'll cut that piece off, and we're getting this one out is quite a problem, because I've either got to cut it out or lever it out. The last one I did, I tried both, and I cut it out with a very fine saw, but I went a bit too deep, and hopefully I've not caused too much of a problem with it on the other side. And but we'll just have to have another go with this. In the meantime, I'll get my little saw, cut this off, and I'll come back to you. We've cleaned up the castings, ready to put the new grommets back in. I was just going to show you here that this is one of the old ones. You can see how hard it is and stiff compared to one of the new ones, and how squashy that is. Right? That's why the old ones keep going and should be replaced every so often. So we put this one back in here, in the end of the casting. It's a little bit tight as it should be. we've got to get in. It's like that. Now we've got to get the end piece of the pipe into there, and you see there's a bit of shoulder on there, which is as far as it goes. You can see it's a wee bit tight. You have to be careful. So, get it like that. There's only one thing we can do. As we all know, that if you want to get something into a hole with a rubber hole, a little bit of lubrication works wonders, don't it? So in case I'm using a bit of Vaseline or petroleum jelly, other versions available apparently, it's on the end of there like that. And it goes just like that. It's nice and tight there. Do the same on this end. Of course, I made first sure all this was clean in here. Sure that goes in. Again, nice piece. Only a smidgen. Just smear it around the edge. And push it into position without damaging the lip. Help it. And oops. Just give it a little bit of a twist. And in it goes. Just like that. Just line it up with the other end. Like that. And there we have the final position. And it's ready for reinstalling back on the head. But in the meantime, I've got to clean some of the rubbish off the top of the head and clean some of the bits and bobs in that area before I can put those in. There we go. Okay, come back to you later.